Hello guys, welcome to another video. This is F1 with Mike. Thanks for tuning in again for another video, and this is my review for the most boring race in Formula 1 history. Oh my goodness. Listen, I know a lot of Formula 1 fans do complain that, oh yeah, Verstappen's dominance is very boring, like, oh, we know who wins the race every time and all of that. Listen, we reached a new low this past weekend in Monaco. Although there were some feel good moments, so that's why like I wouldn't totally like like call it a total boring race because there were a lot of feel good moments to be honest, and yeah, some things happened. So anyway, before we go into the full review, let's look at my predictions that I made before the Grand Prix and how I did. I think I didn't do very well to be honest because it's like the boring side of everything just made everything bad. I don't know. All my predictions just went out of the window. I don't think I got anything right. Okay, no, this is one weekend for the first time since I started this channel that I got everything wrong. Everything totally wrong. So my flop of the week was McLaren. McLaren finished P2 and P4. So that's definitely not flopping. Red Bull were nowhere, so definitely not flopping. My surprise driver of the week was Fernando Alonso. He was knocked out in Q1. He didn't even make it to Q2. That's how bad this weekend was. And I think he finished for like maybe 12th or 11th, thereabout. And for pole position, I went with Max Verstappen. Oh, God. Charles Leclerc was on pole. And I said it, if you're on pole, you win the race in Monaco. And that's exactly what happened because there was no rain. Even the safety car that happened was, I'll even get to that one, but that's forget about that. I don't even have the words for it to be honest. This past weekend was just like, I feel like I was staring at the, like when I was doing my stream and all of that, I was waiting for something to happen. Like it got to a certain point, I didn't know what to say during the stream because it was like, hi, yeah. I wonder what it felt for the commentators that were covering this race. But I mean, to be honest, to be fair, at the end of that race, I think Alex Jacques, I think is he Alex Jacques? I don't know. That's his name, probably. Yeah, on F1 TV, he finished that race with some good things to say for Charles Leclerc. I think I'm gonna try. I don't know if I'll get a copyright strike or I'll get a warning for that, but I'm gonna find that clip where at the end of the race, where Charles Leclerc was getting to the end of his final lap. I mean, whatever that was said there, listen, that is why these guys are paid to do what they do. Really good stuff.
In 2017, Charles Leclerc lost his father, and in his final days, he told his father a white lie, that he'd made it to Formula One, that he'd signed the contract. It wasn't true then, but his driving has made it true now. And look what he's done with the opportunity. The grandstands he saw built as a kid growing up now rise for him. And for the first time in 93 years, this fabled race is won by one of their own. Charles Leclerc wins the Monaco Grand Prix to achieve his...
Anyway, for pole position, it wasn't Max, it was Charles. For my top three, I said those will be on podium. I said I went Charles Leclerc, Max P1, Charles P2. I'm looking at it on my screen, and Fernando Alonso P3. The only person that was on the podium was Charles Leclerc, and I put him P2. He finished P1. At least I got one. And for my crazy prediction of the week was that there were going to be 2 or more safety cars in the race. There was only one. And after that one, there was nothing else, really. It was on lap 1, and after lap 1, everything just went downwards after lap 1, to be honest. Like, let's get into it. The review for how the race went. So everything, I mean, if you watch my review for the qualifying and free practice session, you will have known everything that happened there. So you can check out that video before you watch this if you haven't. So beginning of the race, lap 1, everything started fine. Charles Leclerc was in the lead. Piastri P2. Piastri and Sainz did come close a bit, you know. And those first 2-3 corners, I think everyone saw that Carlos Sainz had a puncture. So I think he drove off, his tire deflated, and He was even moving to the side, so everyone had overtaken him. Then we saw a red flag. I'm like, why is there a red flag? What's going on? And to the crash at the back between I wouldn't say, honestly, I don't know who to blame for that one. I'll call it more like a racing incident between Sergio Perez and and Kevin Magnussen, because both Hasses were out anyway. So out of turn one, going up the hill in turn two, I think Sergio was trying to defend Kevin Magnussen into that uh, into that climb, and somehow they touched. I think some people will say Kevin was at fault, but it's like Kevin was actually given no space by Sergio Perez, so you could say racing incident. So yeah, they touched, and oh my god, if you look at the state of the car of Sergio Perez after that crash, listen, I'm gonna give it out to Formula One every day. Those cars might be huge, and we always complain that they prevent good racing. But listen, that those tech upgrades, whatever they are, whatever makes that car that safe, is very good. Like I can't imagine what would have happened to him if he was in a different car. You know, if you look at the state, I'll try and put the state of the car in like as an image for you to see how the car ended. Like it was destroyed. That car is basically a write-off. I think even the Red Bull team were complaining after that. That will set them back $2 to $3 million because the car is a write-off. They have to build a new one from scratch, like for Sergio Perez. That's before next week in Canada, because the next race is in Canada. Yeah. So that happened. Magnussen tapped Perez. Nico tried to get away quickly, but as much as it was too late. He just couldn't get out, and Perez spinning touched Nico Hülkenberg, and Hülkenberg spun as well. And yeah, three of them were out in lap one. Then something happened as well, but I don't think it got much attention. I think it got much more attention after the race than during the race. So Alpines came together again. Esteban Ocon, oh my god. I don't know if Esteban Ocon will ever get a teammate that he wouldn't try to fight. So apparently Alpine had a team instruction that, because Gasly qualified P10 and Ocon qualified P11. So there was a team instruction that Ocon should not try to overtake Gasly because they were trying to get points, because Alpine so far this season has had only 1 point. And into, I don't know, just before the tunnel in, I think that was turn 7 in Monaco. Just before that tunnel, on lap 1, after the signs puncture, before we saw the red flag, I think Ocon tried to overtake Gasly, getting into that tunnel entry. And for some reason, it didn't go well. Ocon hit, I think, he had some kind of contact with Gasly, and the car went up. And from any Formula One fan knows, if you see a car going up that high, you know that car is out of the race, because that fall is going to destroy a lot of components, even the floor of the car. And there's no way those mechanics are going to make those changes in that safety car period. Yeah, under the red flag period. That red flag time, I think like maybe 30 minutes or something like that. But still, there wouldn't be enough time to fix the damage that will have happened to that car at that particular time. So at the restart, Ocon was out of the race, and Gasly went on. And Gasly's car suffered some damage, but it was able to be fixed up before the restart of the race. So thankfully, Alpine were able to score another point. Now because Gasly finished P10, so after lap 1, 4 cars were basically out. After the red flag, 4 cars were out of the race. That's Sergio Perez, Red Bull, both Hasses, total write-off of a weekend for them. Because I think, what was even more painful was that Nico Hülkenberg actually qualified, I think, P9? Qualified P9. But then, he was disqualified. Both Haas cars were disqualified anyway. Because I think there was an element in their wing that wasn't meant to be there. So it was like a punishment for them. They were going to start from the back of the grid. Both of them. I think initially they were meant to start from the pit lane, but yeah, starting at the back was the same thing. There was no point starting in the pit lane, right? So it was a tough weekend for Haas as a team in general. For Red Bull as well, oh my goodness. They need to fix up their car. Whatever is causing them to not be performing well, I think it's the curbs and bumpy tracks, basically. That's why they struggle so much. So they need to fix their car and work on that, because I think they struggled with this last year at Singapore as well, and it's showing itself now again. So everyone knows that when it comes to bumpy tracks and tracks with a lot of curb, like Canada's gonna have some curbs, but I think they'll be fine because it's not bumpy. The track is not very bumpy. So going back to traditional races for the like next 8 or 9 races, I think Red Bull will be okay. They wouldn't feel as threatened as before, maybe, but the McLarens will definitely be there. I did put them for the flop of the week, but because I didn't expect them to be very quick in those like slow corners and all of that. But to be honest, the progress they've made has been very good. I'm giving like give them their flowers. The McLaren team have done very well, to be honest. Like this season is gonna get very interesting. I can't wait for the day Oscar Piastri is gonna win his first race. It's gonna be amazing, to be honest. And yeah, aside that, there's not much really. It's just everyone is happy for Charles Leclerc. Finally, the curse is broken. He won the race in Monaco. Won his home race. And I think it was a very emotional one for him. I think even during the press conference after the race, he was saying things like, "Oh, he was already crying 2 laps before the end of the race." I think at that particular point, I think it was like 10 seconds or 8 seconds in front to P2, because I think, so as I said, the main reason the race was so boring was that a lot of, so after the first lap, you just need to use 2 different compounds of tires, and they started on the medium, so they went on the hards, and the top 4, that is Charles Leclerc, Piastri, Sainz, and Norris, got onto the hard tires and did the entire race on the hard tires. They went 77 laps on those hard tires. Let me even tell you what's more impressive. In P5, on the medium tires, George Russell did 77 laps. That is insane. Insanity. That the tires will even last that long. Honestly, Pirelli need to do something about those tires. We can't be having those kind of races. At least do something that to make them come in and change tires. Like you can't give those tires are too reliable. I'm sorry. Make the race, if the driving will not make it interesting, make the tires get away somehow. Just do something different. Make special tires for Monaco. Come on. We just sat there looking. This is the first race in Formula One history that the top 10 finished the same way the race started. I mean, I'm gonna give it to them. It shows good driving skill, because like, yo. But still, that's not a good thing. Oh no. Nah, I'm telling you, that race was so boring. That race was so boring. The only good thing was, okay, Oscar Piastri Leclerc. I mean, the whole fun thing going on of him like being adopted by the Leclerc family and all of that. But that was all just some sweet Formula One banter. Anyway, yeah, that's the Monaco Grand Prix. Really, nothing much happened. I think also there's some little things by the side. Lewis Hamilton saying he doesn't expect to outqualify George Russell for the rest of the season. But you can understand why. I think because maybe the development of the car is now geared towards George Russell, because Hamilton is going out of Mercedes and going to Ferrari next year. So it's like, I think they'll be shifting him away from a lot of things. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right. But also, I don't think Mercedes expected Lewis to leave. But it is what it is. And those kind of things happened. Also, Alpine might be banning Ocon for like, they might benching him for the race in Canada to give their reserve driver a chance because of what he did. I think the team principal was really angry with Esteban Ocon, but we'll see what happens there. I mean, he's out of contract at the end of this year anyway, so I don't think there's any point in the team losing points. Listen, I know Jack Doohan is like a good reserve. He's a good choice. We've never seen him like driven in Formula One. I know he's been doing tests in the 2022 Alpine car, but now you're fighting for points. The car is getting into Q2, is getting into Q3 sometimes. Don't mess it up, you know. Just try as much as possible. Talk to him. I mean, it's Ocon. Ocon is going to be stubborn anyways. Either ways, you were trying to maximize and get points that will help you in the constructors battle. So there's no point benching Ocon at this point. It's his last year in the contract. The only thing you can do is to not just give him a new contract. He is fighting for his own career. So definitely, he is going to help you fight for more points. What else happened? That's it, really. Honestly, that's it. Anyway, guys, if you watched the race, let me know what you felt about the race. Honestly, but this is the most boring race ever in Formula One history. Top 10 finishing exactly where they started. Because everybody, listen, let me even talk to the part where Hamilton and Verstappen went into the, like, changed tires, I think like maybe 20 something laps to the end of the race. And they still couldn't overtake George Russell. That's how boring the race was. You know? So, but it is what it is. It is what it is. There was nothing. I think the only overtake we saw was Lance Stroll on Zhou Guan Yu, and that's it. That's how terrible this race was. Anyway, it is what it is. Hopefully, Formula One will look into it. The FIA as well, look into things they can do to make racing in Monaco better. Because if not, man, just take that in off the calendar. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Except you're gonna like introduce some kind of jeopardy. Maybe make compulsory two pit stops. You know, and also things like let's say if there was like a lap one, or let's say lap one, if there was an incident between the first few laps, you cannot change your tires and all of that. It would be so nice, you know. They just introduce some jeopardy to make it more entertaining. But I know the racing drivers might not like it, but all they even complained as well. So it's like it's not only us, it's them as well. Anyway, yeah. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate the support. Kindly like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And also, yeah, if you want to say something about the race, let me know. It will be very interesting. Let's hear different points of view, different opinions in the comment section. I really appreciate the support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. Peace. Have a great week ahead.